They say the holy water's watered down, and this town's lost its faith. Our colors will fade eventually, so if our time is running out, day after day, we'll make the mundane a masterpiece. Oh my, oh my love. I take one look at you, you're taking me out of the ordinary. I want you laying me down to a dead and buried on the edge of your knife, staying drunk on your vibe. The angels up in the clouds are jealous knowing we found something so out of the ordinary. You got me kissing the ground of your sanctuary. Shadow me when you're done. Oh Lord, return me to dust. The angels up in the clouds are jealous knowing we found hopeless hallelujah on this side of heaven's gate. Oh my life, how do ya breathe and take my breath away? At your altar I will pray. You're the sculptor, I'm the clay. Oh my, you're taking me out of the ordinary. I want you laying me down so we're dead and buried on the edge of your night, staying drunk on your vibe. The angels up in the clouds are jealous knowing we found something so out of the ordinary. You got me kissing the ground in the sanctuary. Shadow me when you're done. Oh Lord, return me to dust. The angels up in the clouds are jealous knowing we found something so heavenly, higher than ecstasy. Whenever you're next to me, oh my, what was in black and white until I saw your light? I thought you had to die to find something so out of the ordinary. How are you laying me down to a dead and buried on the edge of your night, staying drunk on your vine. The angels up in the clouds are jealous knowing we found something so out of the ordinary. You got me kissing the ground in the sanctuary. Shadow me when you touch. Oh Lord, return me to dust. The angels up in the clouds are jealous knowing we found.
Well, we'll let you enjoy that cheesecake. Wasn't that something? Anybody else? So while we're getting settled, you probably have seen behind me, thanks to Sid. Sydney put these together, which that's Heather and Jim in action. In many ways, that's what we're so appreciative of what they do for so many things. I thought I would introduce just a few people that are so critical. The first is the planning committee that deals with this particular function, and so I'd like them, and of course they're probably some in the kitchen and vice versa. But we've got, of course, we've got Stephanie Simmons and Michelle Heinrich. Of course, Michelle's here. These people help me forever, which is great. Jason Chancellor, Jason's here. He's probably in the kitchen too, helping out. Eric Cook could be with us this evening. Jay Rao back here in the back. Ashley Eck, Emily Benedict, and Carol Cordell. So thank you to them. Let's give them a hand. With that, we're in our 9th year of recognizing worthy people in our community, and as you know, we have such a great community that there are so many volunteers that we have, but this program is now in its 9th year of recognition. So if you don't mind, I would like to have the past award winners that are here to stand up as I mention their name. The first is Bob Severance. Bob, would you stand up? If you don't mind. We appreciate that. Yeah. Michelle Heinrich. Dorothy Wilson was recognized, then Scott and Mary Jane Chapman. Charlie and Barbara Axtell from last year. So that's the first set of individuals that have been recognized. With that, I would like to turn the mic over to the president currently of Leadership Mitchell County to kind of share with you a little bit the history of Mitchell County.
Thanks for being here. I just want to give you a quick overview of Leadership Mitchell County, how it started, and kind of what the program looks like today. So Leadership Mitchell County first began in 1999 when a group of individuals in Mitchell County who had gone through the Carmel program at Leadership Kansas decided that we needed a leadership program for Mitchell County. So since 1999, we're just getting ready to kick off our 25th class. Leadership Mitchell County is run by a 12-person volunteer board that organizes and facilitates all the sessions throughout the whole year. And each board member is a graduate of Leadership Mitchell County. The Leadership Mitchell County program is funded through donations from our generous community, as well as tuition that the participants pay into the program. Typically, the businesses sponsor their employees to go through the program. We have a lot of repeat businesses just that have seen the value of having their employees go through the program. In 1999, when the program started, it was originally developed to mirror the Leadership Kansas and the Carl programs, just with more of a rural, local focus. Today, it focuses on the competencies and leadership skills that have been developed by the Kansas Leadership Center. That changed in place in 2011. The main teachings from Kansas Leadership Center are anyone can lead anywhere, anytime, and leadership is an activity, not a position. The Leadership Mitchell County program has 9 sessions throughout the year. We visit almost every community in Mitchell County. Certainly talk about every community in Mitchell County and really try to give participants a deep dive into the most important aspects of the county, so healthcare, education, law enforcement, sorry, I lost my words there. We kick off each year with a picnic, this year in Glen Elder in August. There's an overnight session at Ringneck Ranch in Tipton, and then they do an overnight session after spending the day in Manhattan also, and then tour the Capitol in Topeka, so get that statewide leadership as well. The class also attends the Your Leadership Edge session in Wichita, which is a multi-day leadership training. The class members, it's really important to us that the class members not only learn about the local communities, but also gain valuable leadership skills, but also do a lot of networking across the county, but also across the state. Leadership Mitchell County graduates are known to spend more time volunteering in the community once they get done with the program. We had a study done a few years ago, and the annual impact of Leadership Mitchell County volunteers is roughly over $400,000 annually back into the community. So the leadership, Kurt went over a little bit of this, but the Leadership Mitchell County Community Service Award started in 2015, and of course you just met all of the 9 awardees to date. We know our communities are incredibly blessed to have so many people like the Johnsons who work really hard to positively impact others, and they wanted to find a way for Leadership Mitchell County to recognize those individuals. So the Leadership Mitchell County Service Award honors individuals or partners in Mitchell County who give their time and talents to make a significant difference in the community's quality of life. These recipients demonstrate selflessness in helping others, actively participate in community activities, and work tirelessly to help keep Mitchell County thriving. Thank you everybody for joining us on behalf of the Leadership Mitchell County Board of Directors and Community Service Award Committee. This evening is a great opportunity to honor Jim and Heather Johnson, who have certainly demonstrated that leadership is not an activity but a position, and that anyone can lead anytime, anywhere. Thanks.
Thanks, Emily. So with that, we're going to start a program, and at your place should be our speaker list here. My apologies right off the bat is as I was putting that together, we'd organized the speakers, but I failed to include Brendan Eilert listening here, although she's ready. She's ready. So with that, Brendan, I'm going to let her start off, and after she speaks, then if the speakers would please step up to the mic and in that particular order, kind of express why you're here to speak on behalf of Heather and Jim. And for Bob Severance, I might ask you to put this on your lapel as you speak so he can understand. Okay? Thank you. Yeah. Ready?
Good evening. Thank you, Kurt. Thank you, Leadership Mitchell County, for hosting this event in honor of two of my most favorite people, Jim and Heather. It is my honor to spend the next few minutes telling the room about many of their early accomplishments in Beloit, but more importantly, who they are as people behind the scenes. Because to some, they might seem larger than life, but to truly know who they are as people helps to understand how they've gotten here, where we are right now. While others see the amazing things they pull off, I see Heather's mind hard at work. Every I dotted and T crossed, functioning on 4 hours of sleep at night, going to work at the store in the middle of the night because it needed to be done. And that's when she had time. Jim's shrugging up his shoulders and following along with every plan she has, and the countless amount of personal sacrifices they make in order to benefit others. This isn't the norm, which is what makes them so special and so deserving of this award. Heather and I became friends in the 5th grade when she transferred to Beloit Elementary School. I remember pointing to a desk beside me, offering for her to sit there. Since then, my life and my family's life have been blessed in so many ways by having her as such a large part of our lives. As we were growing up, I knew that her parents, Max and Michelle, were fundamental leaders within our community. But I didn't know at that time that this extraordinary daughter they were raising would go on to follow directly in their footsteps in being such a servant leader for this community. You just can't take the passion, the desire to make things better, the vision for how things could be, and the ability to lead others effectively out of this family. It is innate within them. Jim is along for the ride. He should have known what he was getting into when he agreed to go on their honeymoon at Disney World. And if you haven't noticed well, first of all, will you please give our servers a round of applause? Because every single one of them has a role in Jim and Heather's life, and they jumped at the opportunity to come and serve tonight to honor two people that they love and appreciate very much. And on all of our servers, they have a button that has a picture of Jim and Heather that says, "Let the fun begin," in front of a Disney World castle. So, the fun was just beginning, Jim. He is the perfect person to have married Heather because he supports her, rarely ever says no, and is the steady landing spot for her to land, and sometimes fall. And he's always there ready to put her back together for the next feat. He is the voice of reason, and yet shares her lofty goals and ideas and knows exactly how she ticks. God truly brought these two together because separate they are powerful movers and shakers, but together they are fearless, selfless leaders who make each other stronger. Jim and Heather don't just talk about change, they create it. They are leaders in every sense of the word, not because they seek attention or accolades, but because they care deeply about people and about making Beloit and our surrounding communities stronger and more connected. And they aren't intimidated by putting themselves out there and putting in the time and effort to make things better. They lead with kindness, humility, and action, and consistently show this community what servant leadership looks like through a pattern of purposeful, selfless giving. I've been asked to cover the early years of their giving within this community, specifically when Heather, and Jim by association, came onto the Beloit Elementary School PTO board. She came on in 2007 and served until 2012, with Heather serving as president from 2008 to 2011. Before that time, PTO was very involved and fantastic, but Heather always has a way of upping the game and taking things to next level category. My favorite example of this during this time was when she and Kevin Morosis designed the mural for the front of BES. Many of you may not know she was the brains behind that. She presented it to the school board, I believe in June of that year, and they unanimously approved it. She called later that evening stunned at the ease of how it had transpired. She had an idea, a plan, and they approved it, that easy. Heather and Kevin quickly went into action to be sure the new mural would be ready for the start of the new school year, and this included many late nights painting in the dark so the design could be projected on the building. During her tenure as PTO president, she pulled off some amazing back-to-school fun nights, Grandparents' Day celebrations, bingo nights, and Dr. Seuss days, just to name a few. She exploded Teacher Appreciation Week into literally an entire week of celebrating the faculty and staff at BES with all kinds of food and kind gestures. She alone hosted too many classroom parties to count and put on the most amazing end-of-year park days. What she did for Sydney, she wanted to carry through and do for Avery and Eli. So there was no paring down of activities. If anything, she just continued to up the ante. As the kids got older, those efforts that began at the elementary school level were extended to the junior, senior high school. By then, the standards and expectations had been set for the PTO, and she left things in strong hands to continue all the great things that she had created. Along with so many other things, she brought Teacher Appreciation Week goodies and activities to the junior, senior high school. One text sent out to her endless list of parents who enjoy helping, and she can make anything happen on a dime's notice. It has become a running joke among the classes here at Beloit High that began in the fall of 2014, I believe, that no class would win the float competition in the fall homecoming parade unless there was a Johnson in that class. Right, guys in the back? All the surfers? Yes. Yes. The class sponsors would even celebrate, yay, we have a Johnson, knowing it would be a great experience for that class. Again, it upped the ante on participation and competition to have fun with something so small, but brought so much enthusiasm and pride to the process. Heather and Jim's mentality of don't do anything subpar, think big, and then next level, has helped shape this school and community in so many intangible ways. Heather is often up late at night putting together goodie bags for bus rides and never leaves anyone out. She always shows up with a tote that she can barely carry, full of black and orange pom-poms, costumes, wigs, hats, and any prop you can imagine, all to add to the excitement and fun. While many would be afraid to drag something like this into somewhere, not Heather. She can't leave home without it. Heather and Jim are always wanting to help with fundraising efforts for teens and activities. They love to donate and contribute however they can. Whether it's Jimmy's famous pulled pork, a financial donation, a roaster full of sloppy Joe meat, or my personal favorite of her Holly roasters overflowing with chili in the back end of her Yukon for a soup supper. When she starts to open the hatch of her car and says, "Don't tell Jim," and chili comes pouring out the back end of the car, that's when you know who the true saint is, and that is Jimmy. Just trade it in. I think her plan that night was to take it to the car wash and just spray it out, she said. See, Jimmy is that landing spot, he does the cleanup. While we all thank you for all you both do and have done, we more importantly thank you for being who you are. You are both so deserving of this award. I love you both so very much, and congratulations.
Okay, I decided I wanted to go first. Okay, good evening. I am Erin Stewart. First of all, I feel very honored to be one of the many that could possibly be speaking here this evening. Thank you all for coming to celebrate Jim and Heather. So in my profession, I take pictures of people while they aren't talking. So public speaking is not something I'm not accustomed to. I would like to say Kurt had to beg me to do this, but since it was Jim and Heather Johnson as the recipients, I decided this can't be anything like cooking pulled pork for 500 plus. The Beloit my first, I like to call it Jim and Heather Johnson job. But let's be honest here, these were mostly Heather Johnson jobs, with a very incredible Jimmy saying yes. But in reality, I was young. I didn't know the depth of campaigning such a big asset to a community. I remember the sloppy Joe meals, the fancy 3-ring binder I got, and I never added anything to it. And then the infamous, we are going to put pool noodles in as many yards as we can. And we did. I mean, I look back and I really hope she didn't keep attendance at these meetings. But that's the motto here. Jim and Heather are a huge flame in our community. They incorporate people, they take a chance on people, and hope they can push people to be sparks to their flame. When they ask, people respond, and it makes people want to help. That truly is a gift that not everyone has. Even if each of us might not ever be the size of flame that Jim and Heather does in community efforts, it takes those people to push others to be better. However, through this all, their biggest impact on myself was their Jim and Heather reality Facebook series. Some of you might be thinking, what does this have to do with anything? Well, in my own experience early on, for some reason, I thought, why does anyone want me coming to help with organized events when I can't keep up with my own everyday chaos? Then it hit me one day. I realized that these incredible humans and businesses and have the busiest lives, they still live like real people, and I personally related to that the most. We might all play trash can Jenga, have mismatched socks, black permanent marker on a white van, spill a roaster of chili in our car, but without the sparks and flames from everyday people, you don't have a community that comes together. We thank you, Jim and Heather, for being a big flame and asset in the Beloit community in our lives. Congratulations on the support.
In case you're wondering, we're about to be 3 for 3 with chili and pulled pork references. When I told Jody that I was asked to speak at this, she had an immediate concerned look on her face, and she said, "You can't get up there and crack jokes for 5 minutes. It's not a roast of Heather." She didn't mention Jim. While it crossed my mind, maybe that's something later. I digress. The first time I met Jim and Heather was actually at Brendan Eiler's 40th birthday party at the original Kettle location. That's when I started my job at Beloit High School that summer. Little did I know, leaving that night, how much time we would spend together over the next 10 years. The last decade has produced hundreds of calls and thousands of texts. Heather always appreciated the zest and joy with which I answered her calls and texts. It didn't take long after meeting them to realize that their passion for Beloit and Beloit schools is second to none. And while Heather might be the face of the show, don't fool yourself, Jim is always hard to work behind the scenes. I can't even begin to imagine the number of pork butts smoked in the last 10 years. Heather and Jim have been the Booster Club on the board since 2013 and presidents since 2016. Coming in, the Booster Club when I got there was carrying a balance of around $5,000 to $7,000, and that has increased exponentially. And the benefit of that has been the school and the student athletes. We talked about a golf tournament right away and started that with the speaker. That transitioned into Trojan Night Out, which has become one of the highlight events of the year for all of us. The fall sports kickoff, which used to be here in the comments at the gym, has changed into a back-to-school kickoff parade with students lining the curb by the football field, hundreds of decorated cars driving by and waving. Those funds from those events and others have led to game day music, sound system and video board in the gym, a project which has consumed my son, so thanks for that. Scores, tables, medals, huddle subscriptions, golf bags, tennis ball machines, skate bags, and on and on. And of course, the vision being brought to life right now over at the new sports complex. And while both Heather and Jim would be humble and quick to point out the help of others in the Booster Club and community, the vision and drive has been to the forefront of the growth of the Booster Club. Subsequently, me and our school has enjoyed benefiting from. While Heather likes to talk about her and Jim having nothing to do next year with Eli leaving. I can't imagine Beloit where they aren't pitching in and helping. It's what they do best. I'm sure the Booster Club can talk around the hall and a few roasters of chili come soup supper time. The funniest part about that is I don't remember how long after that was. When you pulled back up here, I was like, what is in your car? And like, that's a roaster of chili from like 3 months ago. So don't tell Jim. I remember that from the But truly, the support from the Booster Club with the Johnsons at the lead has been something that has touched all activities. Myself, along with our coaches and student athletes, are extremely grateful and thankful for all you guys have done.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Ryan Fink. I have been asked by Kurt to come up and talk about Jim. Can't leave Heather out, and she's always part of it, but we're going to focus on Jim right now. He said, you know what, Ryan, you need to speak. And I said, okay. And I'm thinking through my mind, I could talk 30, 45 minutes, maybe an hour, and Kurt disappointed me, and he said, you got 5 minutes. So, leadership. Perseverance, passion. There are just a few words that explain Jim Johnson. From an idea of what the 2018-19 class of Leadership Mitchell County to build a trap range here in Beloit, we have been truly blessed. It was with a phone call that I had with Jim that had talked to him and said, Jim, are you in on this? And he said, yes. I knew then that this was going to come to fruition to what it is today because of his involvement. I was in. So, with that, we proposed the challenge that was put forth to us. We have now completed throwing almost 250,000 clay targets at our trap range, which equates to almost 9,000 individual rounds of kids out there shooting. We have ended up and have had 8 students receive scholarships to go to college just from the trap range alone, which has definitely been a true blessing to all of us. Also, we have ran 263 youth through of teaching Hunter's Ed out to the range. So, with that being said, we are truly blessed of what Leadership Mitchell County has done for us in the trap range, and also Jim and Heather, and the compassion to lead us to where we are today. Thank you for being our leader at the Mitchell County Trap Range, and everything you have done. Heather, your support has definitely been a savior to all of us. Thank you.
Well, when Kurt reached out to me about speaking at this event for you guys, I was a little nervous. It had been over a year since I'd spoken in public. I also thought, oh great, there's no way I'm going to be able to make it through this without getting emotional. All I had to do was remind myself that if Heather can make it through the class of 2024 graduation speech, this will be a walk in the park. Not going to make any promises, but I'm confident I can keep it together for 5 minutes. The main thing I'm discussing today is the impact that Jim and Heather had on our class of 2024 CCD group. This group of about 10 or 12 of us has been together for a long time, and we have been through a lot together with Heather and Jim right by our side. For me, it started in 5th grade. This was my first experience with CCD in Beloit since we moved from Downs. And Heather ended up being our teacher. And she just made sure that it was enjoyable for everybody in a very welcoming place. She truly is one of the best at what she does. And I hope she continues doing it for a long time so that way my kids can eventually have her as a teacher. Since that first CCD year, it evolved into us having dinner at their house almost every Wednesday night during our confirmation classes. And even after that, we still continued our Wednesday night tradition through our junior and senior years of high school. At these dinners, we shared some pretty incredible memories, from laughs around the table to talking about the next event we had, to celebrating each other's accomplishments from the previous week, and sharing everybody's holy moments from the past week, to Heather giving Jim the nastiest side-eye known to man after he makes the whole group bust out laughing during the blessing of our meal. Every time. And while I'm extremely grateful for those moments, it was the moments that were not so great that I think Jim and Heather's impact really showed in our group. Specifically after Kyler's accident in 2022, their home became a place for our group to get together and just process and discuss everything that we were feeling. They even took us up to Madonna Rehab a couple times to see him, so that meant a lot to us. And through these difficult moments, it just reinforced everything that Heather's been teaching us about Jesus' overwhelming love, that everything's up to His timing, and just how to live with joy in our lives regardless of any outcome or result. Jim and Heather, your guys' level of dedication to our community and the people within it is something that I aspire to have one day. Many times what you guys manage to accomplish in one day leaves me speechless and wondering what we've done to deserve you guys in our community. You guys are truly one of the biggest blessings in my life, and I think I can speak for everyone here when I say that you're one of the biggest blessings in our town. You guys truly are the reason that there is no place like Beloit, and there is no one more deserving of this award than you two, so thank you for everything you've done for our class and for our town.
Okay, there we go. So when Kurt contacted us about speaking tonight, he said you guys can either speak by myself or all three, so obviously I made all three of us be here. And I texted our group chat, and I said, hey, we're going to speak at Mom and Dad's event. And if you know Eli Johnson, 11 out of 10 times he's not responding to the group chat. However, we got a response, and he said he's going to fire up ChatGPT again from his high school days. And originally I was disappointed, but if you know Heather Johnson, she loves the ChatGPT. She loves the sparkle, she loves the dash, so it's all in her honor. But the unfortunate thing is nothing about the Johnson lifestyle is AI generated because it's so crazy, off the wall, and unpredicted, so this all came from the heart. Kurt asked us to speak about our parents' contributions to the Beloit, Easter Egg Hunt, and the Wakanda Fireworks Association. And luckily for you, the Vice President, Secretary, and Treasurer, all standing in front of you today. Turns out, you need a few people and a quote-unquote board of directors before you start a nonprofit LLC. Learned that from Jim. So, as a chairwoman of a multitude of committees, I've learned that you can spend $1,000 at a time at a Walmart self-checkout. That takes about 4 or 5 run-throughs to get every kid in Beloit, Kansas a Easter bunny for the year. A 12-inch mortar shell to reach up to 900 feet in the air. And there is always more room in the back of the Yukon. Through every new chapter, different house, and significant life change, our parents have proudly displayed a sign in our home that reads, I have been given so much, so therefore I too must give. This sign is one that was read to us often, practiced daily, and is a cornerstone to the fundamentals of Heather and Jim Johnson. I often think about how their service to Beloit, Kansas is something that is second nature to them. They consistently think of ways to raise the bar and make this community we all know and love be the ideal place to plant roots, invest fully, and reap beautiful benefits of a tight-knit small town community.
While their service to our community is something we strive to emulate each and every day, their service to each other is what we admire most. I cannot think of a couple that is better chosen for each other than our parents. When God introduced them to each other, He knew they were the perfect match to carry out a lifetime of plans that he had created for them. From my mom's endless ideas to my dad's inability to say no, and to the hundreds of world problems that are solved each and every day at the same booth at exactly 11:15 a.m. at the El Teamon's restaurant. They are truly a match made in heaven. I'm sure so many people in this room can name a time that they've attended an event hosted by Jim and Heather Johnson, donated to an initiative they started, or made cookies for a bake sale for the next day after being texted at 9 p.m. It is truly the community of support and love that they have created around them that makes us so proud. Tonight is a beautiful display of how well they are loved and how the community has allowed them to grow and thrive in their own special niche. While talking about all the big accomplishments our parents have achieved, those are truly not the ones that we would recall as our favorite memories. We will always remember each of us dressing as the Easter Bunny, buying Alco out of every toy in the price range of about $3 to $5 for the Easter egg prizes. All the funny stories told while licking stamps for hundreds of solicitation letters for the fireworks show. Sitting in the boat and enjoying a beautiful night of fireworks, praying with each of our hands held that Justin Emmett will not call us and say that we started a small grass fire with the $12,000 fireworks show we shot off during a burn ban. From 2012 to 2018, they raised $90,000 and were able to bring back the fireworks show that we all know and love so much. Additionally, each year the Easter egg hunt brings about 500 kids together, and each receives candy and a prize of their choosing during this event, and we all look forward to helping them each and every year.
First of all, I'd like to say sorry to all my English teachers that have ever taught me. I'm just a dumb guy that goes out and fishes every once in a while, so it's going to be rough for me. Well, first of all, I'd like to echo everything that the girls have said. I mean, it's all true. And the second question is I would like to ask who thought it was a good idea for me to come up here and speak. But being the last kid, it really shows me how our parents have walked through life together, and it has shown Sydney going to about every single state in the United States, playing every sport underneath the sun. Avery going to all the forensic meets, which everyone here should go to. It is an amazing time. Probably the most laughing I've ever done in my whole entire life. And for me, they have not missed a single one of my sporting events in the 4 years of my high school career, and that is a true fact. And their love and support is something that will always be with me and everyone here, and I cannot express how grateful we are for you, Mom and Dad. Thank you.
Good evening. It's a privilege to stand with you tonight and speak about these two extraordinary people, Heather and Jim. When Kurt asked to talk about the bond and the foundation aspect of these two, I knew it would be no problem. When asked to keep it 3 to 5 minutes, it was a bit more daunting because you put a mic in front of my face and I'm going to talk for a long time. About nothing, usually. But this is pretty easy because I can talk for them forever. My only concern was I didn't want to be the first speaker, so thank you, Brennan, for doing that. Forever. No, I'm just kidding. And I didn't want to follow Avery because it's Avery. But instead of just following Avery, I got to follow 3 kids who, like, put me in the corner here, but that's all right. So, if you've ever wondered what it looks like when passion meets purpose, these two are the definition of that. Heather and Jim don't just support our school, they live and breathe for its success. From the very beginning, their desire to help was clear. When it came time to run a bond for our school, for the first time in 50 years, they didn't hesitate at all, immediately jumped in and helped organize all sorts of events. They rolled up their sleeves, poured in hours and hours into campaigning, whether it was organizing meetings, sharing multiple updates on Facebook over and over, knocking on doors, or just having one-on-one conversations with people. They were there all the time. They were the heart of it. They weren't just talking about the importance of the bond for our school. They were talking about what is important for our community, what is important for our children, what is important for the future. And they're the reason that so many people voted yes. Now, we've discussed this earlier, but Heather doesn't take the word no very well. And when only certain parts of the bond passed, she immediately pivoted and said, I'll raise the money, we'll find another way. So Heather and Jim transitioned, focused their energy on the foundation, setting a precedent of dedication and vision unlike anything we've seen before. Their leadership brought new energy and the possibility of what we could achieve as a community. They asked bold questions. How can we generate this much money? Where do we look for this? Who else can we bring in to help us? And how can we make this last forever, not just for a year? Then they found the answers. We had a foundation, I think it started in 2017-ish, we'll say that, but it didn't really have a backing, following. We had some money raised, we had some projects, but nothing in a long-range vision. Now we have a long-range plan. Heather's vision turned ideas into action, from selling naming rights to athletic areas, lanes, you name it, we sold it, and people bought it. And it was because they care. They care about our school, our community, and they want to make it last for a long time. And she's a really good salesman. Sell you some airs. Give her a minute, she will do it. So, helping set up the website and getting it on the right page, telling the story effectively, and connecting with more and more donors, people who have moved away and who not were forgot about, but didn't get the info from Beloit. We now have that out there and it's working. Through it all, they didn't stop inviting others to work, but rather they got more and more people on their team so we can accomplish more together. Their efforts weren't just effective, they were inspiring. In under 3 months, they raised $3 million. When I talk to other principals, when I talk to other administrators and they ask what we're doing and how we're doing it, I don't tell them, hey, it's Heather, and we're not sharing her. And so they ask and they don't really believe it, and then we take them to the website and show them all that, and they are in awe. It's not the fundraisers, it's not the little things, it's everything that has made it a success. Heather has shared genuine disappointment when we only raised $7,000 during a luncheon in one day, in 2 hours. That proves that her standards are that high. But that standard allows us to be successful, and she pushes us that way. What's the most remarkable? Heather and Jim, we love your kids, by the way, you know that. They were some of our best ever. We tried to redshirt one of them, but they wouldn't let me. Sorry. They don't have children in our schools that are going to see all of the stuff that's created in the next 3 years. Their kids are graduated and moved on. We hope we'll take care of their children when we come back. But that shows how much they care. They're not doing this because what their family gets in return. They're doing it because they care. They genuinely care about the students, the educators, and our future. They become guides, the drivers, the spark, and in many ways, the soul to help improve our school. By asking what's next, what does the school need now? Bleachers, lighting, press box, concession stand, we go on and on. They give their time and resources, their hearts, tirelessly every day. Day after day, text after text, post after post, smoke pork butt after smoke pork butt. And you guys do it all. You are the difference. On behalf of all of us, from the school, from the foundation, student, staff, and community, thank you. Thank you for believing in us and for reminding us what is possible when vision meets commitment. Our school is better because of you. Our community is better because of you. And we are all better because of you. Thank you so much. We are eternally grateful.
Good evening. I'm honored to talk about Heather and Jim tonight. I've been blessed to work alongside Heather and get to know them over the past 14 years. When interviewing for a job, you usually have a standard job description with specific tasks listed, such as billing, customer interactions, phone skills, computer skills. Do not take a job with S&S if you just only want to follow that description. There are endless activities in the community community that you will participate in, spearheaded by Heather, along with her trusty sidekick, Jim. We start off springtime with the famous Easter egg hunt, which the kids covered. Memorial Weekend is always a big one here in Beloit. SNS has hosted the annual Color Out Cancer Color Run for the past 11 years, a fun way to include people of all ages and raise money for the Breast Friends Foundation, which helps local residents fighting cancer. Summer, there's Kids Cafe, where a yummy lunch is served up to over 100 kids. SNS has hosted that since it started, and it's always some kind of good home-cooked meal like sloppy joes, goulash, or spaghetti prepared by Heather. She can't just do sandwiches. July brings the blood drive that SNS hosts every year in honor of my son, Keller. Our staff helps to work the drive, serving up again a yummy meal prepared by Heather, and even though she is not a fan of blood, she is always there. Halloween downtown, Heather has the staff line the streets, and we have lots of treats to hand out to all the kids that pass by. There may have been a few times when we ran out, and Heather, not wanting the kids to go without, sends the staff to the basement, and we're grabbing Easter things and Christmas things and just getting their buckets full. Christmas time is when Santa comes to SNS Drug, and Heather ensures that there are endless activities for kids to do, lots of cookies, and of course a picture on Santa's lap. Also, a poinsettia plant is sent to every single resident of Hilltop Lodge, Nickel Home, and RCC for their Christmas. Heather always has a pulse on what the community needs. We will all never forget when COVID hit in 2020. She worked tirelessly to make sure the pharmacy and home health could meet the needs of everyone while still keeping her staff safe. When she saw a need for vaccinations, not only in our community, but in others, she made it happen. And the next thing we knew, we had a huge vaccination clinic in Manhattan. Between the clinics here in Beloit, at the Holiday Inn, Sorority House, and maybe even a Chipotle parking lot, we helped get thousands of people vaccinated that were seeking it. She is truly our fearless leader that goes above and beyond to make every employee feel valued and special. Her passion for this community has definitely inspired all the staff at SNS, and I'm so proud of all the positions that several of the staff members hold. They range from Booster Club, Breast Friends Foundation, Mitchell County Hospital Health System Board of Trustees, Beloit Chamber, Guaranty State Bank Board of Directors, Nickel Home Board, Board of Directors for Liberating Odious, a nonprofit veteran support organization, just to name a few. Heather and Jim, this community is beyond blessed to have you. I could go on and on about all the other things that people do not see behind the scenes, all the things that you do for others because you care and have the biggest hearts. This award couldn't be more deserving. Congrats.
Thank you all. Way to hit up outside the ballpark with that, so thank you all speakers. You know, we honestly could be here all night. Because there's even more areas that Jim didn't touch that we didn't even have an opportunity to invite this evening to participate in this. And I'm just going to mention just a few of those, but just so I'll put them because they're on the record. Believe it or not, you know, we video this, and Charlie, thank you for that this evening. We video this, and this is going to be, along with all of our other award banquets, then will be in the museum for years to come. So 50 years from now, we're all gone, they can look back and see what we look like, I guess. It's going to be great to have that history preserved. Heather and Jim, you do so many things besides what's already been talked about, you know, serving on the hospital board, the Nickel Home, you've served on the church council, the church, you've served on the tech college board, you've been Girl Scout leader, Beloit Rotary, finance committee of the church, endowment fund of the hospital, Leadership Mitchell County, which has been discussed. Those are just a few of the things that they also touch on a daily basis. So thank you so much for all that. Can't say enough. So with that, I'd like to have you step up here. So on behalf of Leadership Mitchell County, I'd like to present you As you all know, something that goes with the honor itself is the fact that there's an honorarium. There's $400 that's given by Leadership Mitchell County that goes to that, but then we invite the community to participate in that. We have almost $3,000 that's going to go in your honor to the USA 273 Educational Fund. So with that, I turn it over to you.
Jim said, Jim said that I was in charge of the thank you, and so I did ChatGPT it about 30 minutes ago, and I'm not kidding. So, it's a great tool. It's a great tool. As Jim and I sit here among our closest friends, our family, co-workers, my favorite kids, and fellow enthusiastic volunteers of North Central Kansas, our hearts are full, truly full. I know. We cannot begin to thank you all enough for the time, the planning, the preparing, the behind-the-scenes work that went into making tonight happen. From the heartfelt testimonies to the hugs, laughter, stories about chili, I knew that was going to come up. This evening was humbling, overwhelming, and so deeply appreciated. It's crazy to think that nearly 35 years ago, almost to this day, Jim and I met at a festive gathering in Doc Clinton's backyard. It was a go-away party for Mr. Paul, Justin Paul. Anyway, we had no idea that our path together would lead us here. Standing before you tonight is nothing we could have predicted, and everything we could have hoped for. Now, if you know us, you know things don't always go according to a carefully laid out plan. There have been lots of last-minute scrambles, 5-minute showers before go time, a back bedroom that's about chest high currently, full of a few dorm materials, and thrown together efforts along the way. But we've always had, and what we are blessed with, are the people around us. First, I want to thank to you, Jim. A man that has never told me no. He may raise an eyebrow or question the timing, but when it came down to it, he's always by my side. And what many don't see is while we're doing all these things that we've mentioned here tonight, Jim was also serving on hospital boards, college committees, church councils, and school groups, and he did it all without hesitation. To our kids, your stories are scary, are endless, and unfortunately, almost all true. But no matter the request, whether it's loading pulled pork trays, hauling home tubs of toys, or delivering forgotten supplies, you always showed up. Even if there was a little eye rolling involved, you always were there. The attribute that I love the most about each of our kids is that if someone came to a group and said, we have an emergency, 24-hour need to raise $10,000, I am confident my kids, each of them, would raise their hand and ask 2 questions. Do you want me to start now, or can we wait 12 hours? And who has the roasters? To our parents, thank you for meals, to childcare, to laundry, to the sous chef. You were the original support team, and we are endlessly grateful. To our coworkers, thank you for holding the fort, picking up the pieces, helping us organize and support us in all ways we needed. Whether it's coming up with last-minute booster club meetings from Jim's office in 15 minutes notice, or giving 1,000 COVID shots in 2 days, you've always gone above and beyond. To our dear friends, you somehow have always become our co-volunteers, and you never say no. Even when we propose cooking 1,000 hamburgers with a parade 2 days in a row. Not one of you batted an eye. You just said, let's go. And to the sweet kids in the room, you were why we do this. We wanted our kids, and all of you, to grow up with the same rich opportunities that we had. And again, no matter how wild my ideas were, you always showed up. You always said yes. And finally, our faith. When Jim and I got married, we made a deal. He would become Catholic if I took hunter safety. I'm not hunter safety. I'm waiting for the perfect time. Yeah, I heard. I need to go to the 6th grade class. I truly believe that God brought Jim and I together, not just for each other, but to serve. Our faith backgrounds were different, but our hearts are the same. We both are firm in belief that the blessings He's given us are what made this all possible. And so from the bottom of our hearts, thank you. Thank you for tonight. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for helping be a part of our journey. We are more humble than you could ever express, and we love and appreciate each and every one of you. You want to add something?
I think with that, I would like to just say a few more thank yous, or especially thank you to Jim and Heather for being such a big part of our community and impacting so many of us. This evening, as I mentioned, was put on by the committee, but the plaque, which is so nicely done, that Jason Chancellor always sponsors that each year. The setup and the takedown that all the committee has been involved with. Of course, Michelle, you probably didn't know where the decorations came from, but yes, they are Michelle. And just awesome as always. Emily did our program this year. Thank you, Emily. And of course, as I mentioned, Charlie's doing our video for the first time this year. We appreciate you filling in and taking care of that. So those are our special thank yous, but really a thank you to each and every one of you that came this evening to honor Jim and Heather, recognizing what they do for all of us and paying tribute in so many ways. So thanks for coming, and we'll see you. Oh, Michelle. Okay. So the cheesecake was, hopefully you enjoyed that. And so that came from Leah, that Mama Leah's that's down on Mill Street. And so I just just wanted you to appreciate that. That quality was definitely from her. And Michelle promised that we would mention that, so that we're taking care of that. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you. Anything else? If not, thanks again for coming.
Laying me down to a dead and buried on the edge of your night, staying drunk on your vine. The angels up in the clouds are jealous knowing we found something so out of the ordinary. You got me kissing the ground.